saying this is the Night Owls Disc Golf podcast.
That was creative. I
Kind
like
of.
that one. It was not quite Igor. I thought you were going to rock with the Igor.
Yeah, I was
like
thinking
that
about that.
or whoever it is. But I like that one. I'm Shane.
I'm JP.
And we're back at it again, folks. So sad news. My boy and I did not record another one.
Oh. Okay.
We talked about it like 4 times.
Yeah.
And then we just never did it.
Well,
So he wants to do it still, but
That's cool.
Kids.
yeah, kids. Exactly.
Kids. Oh, yeah. So what did you do this week?
What did I do this week? Oh, well, we went to Washington Island today.
Is that why you're all
Oh, yeah.
like a whole pigment darker?
I didn't realize it. We went to a baseball game and county league, and I was sitting there, and it wasn't that warm. It was like 60, 65 today, like sunny. And I was like, oh yeah, just sitting out. And I was like, gosh, my neck feels like it's getting really red. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can deal with that. But then I get home and I look in the mirror and I'm like, boom, like everything is
Yeah.
a shade darker.
Well, and the UV index was about as high as we see in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like all the people in Florida are like, man, that would be nice if it was that way. But yeah, it was bad today. So my wife and kids went to, and a couple other people's kids went to Bay Beach today.
Oh yeah.
And they got roasted. Roasted. Even little Ezra's like his little face is burnt. Not burnt, but he's got a little color on it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was good. So what else?
What else?
Deliver some mails.
Yeah, a lot of mails this weekend.
A lot of mails.
A lot of packages. People ordering.
About mails and packages?
Yeah.
You are a sick man.
Yeah. Hey, people are getting ready for the big holiday. I think they want to get like clothes and whatever else
It's what it takes is mails and packages.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I've ever used mails and packages for the 4th of July.
Parcels.
Parcels. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Packages, parcels, whatever. Yeah. That and now we got a week off of soccer and like activities. I think no, that's not true. Dempsey has a baseball game Tuesday and like practice, but like soccer wise, nothing this week, which I'm kind of
That's kind of
thankful for because like I'm getting old and sore.
Isn't it crazy how tired you get?
Yeah.
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 I'm like every night, I don't know. Like, I think I've said this before, but I remember making fun of old people just like falling asleep on the couch.
Oh yeah.
Every night.
I do that. It's so
like-
easy.
Oh, so easy. If I wasn't talking right now, I'd probably be sleeping on
Yep.
the couch.
I did that last night. I turned something on. I think I was watching like Casey White vlog or Simon. Simon was playing some course and I was like, oh, this is really great. Like I made it through like 10, 15 minutes and just out like a light.
Yeah. Well, it's hard, yeah. And then like kids sports, we've talked about that. So
Yeah.
one of them's done. So like baseball for the little guy's done.
Nice.
So that's good, but bad because now he's got a ton of energy, he doesn't know what to do with. So I'm like, go outside,
Yeah.
go outside. But he does pretty well. But yeah, it's just with that. And then we're like training people, like perpetually training people for like the last 2 months.
Oh, wow.
At the restaurant, just, revolving door and finding the right people. And then, but that's mentally exhausting for me because I'm not good at being patient for that long.
Sure.
Like I'm good the first 5 times I tell you, but the like 14th time, it gets to me. So, but it's hard to stay that composed for that long, for that many days in a row, But yeah, so we played disc golf. I went down Tuesday, I think, it was Tuesday. I went down to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Played with the Green Bay boys down there. So Matt,
nice.
Yeah, Matt, Mike, and
Lucas.
no, it wasn't Lucas. It was
BJ?
Matt's college roommate.
Oh, really?
I apologize. I don't remember that. I'm horrible. Horrible.
Oh, you know who you are.
Yeah, he knows. I've talked to him a couple times. Yeah, played with them. Did okay.
Where did you guys play?
Pinecrest.
Hamcrest?
Pinecrest. Played at Pinecrest. And Pinecrest, I did okay. It was 1 under. I wasn't great. Like, I don't know what it was, but just like stupid stuff, like missed the island.
Oh, okay.
Like just stupid little things like that
Sure.
that threw me off. Like hit a lot of trees, But I was playing pretty stellar through like the first 7 holes. I think it was like 3 or 4 under, and then bogey trained. You know? I got a double bogey on 1 hole, and I'm like, well, I thought I was over at that. And they're like, no, you're still 1 under. And then I kind of held 1 under from that point. But it was just like cruddy play from not playing for so long and then just trying to work myself back in, And then, let's see, didn't really do much else. I did skip league Thursday. I wanted to go, but just with timing of getting back from places and stuff, I just wasn't able to go. So disc golf league, I wasn't able to go throw. And then, and then I guess we're here today. So that's that.
Well, and then the flex.
Yeah, the flex went on yesterday. Yeah, 64 people, if I remember rightly, showed up.
Wow.
So not too bad. It was pretty good. So then we'll finalize and get everything all paid up and sent out and officialized.
So you didn't have to go down. Who went down to Green Bay to do like vending and stuff?
So Matt actually takes stuff down. So Matt Yadis has been running them down there.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I just want to do it. And I'm like, that's great. And he goes, my ideal thing is for you to not even have to worry about it. All you have to do is pay the people. I was like, sounds good to me.
Cool.
So,
right on.
Yeah, no, so it's working out really well. He's doing a really good job with it. He's very diligent. And it seems like he's like they're running well because they're getting bigger every time they ran. So I think he has 2 more to do down there. So it's good. He's doing pretty well. And then I think outside of that, that's about it. So nothing new or exciting in my life. I did get a new knife today.
A new knife?
A new knife. Ooh, I have it. I'll show you. I'll show you. It's really cool. It's an auto knife.
Shiny.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
Isn't that really neat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I got a new knife like every, 4 or 5 months. I like treat myself to a knife.
Yeah.
So I went into High Side.
Oh.
They're expensive.
Okay.
But I just like supporting local businesses.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, and I didn't look at the price. Should have looked at the price. And then he goes, give him a deal. And then he named the price. And I'm like, and you know how you have so much ego that when you get to the register, you're like, okay, I'll just buy it. It's one of those moments.
Sure.
It was too much.
Okay.
It was way too much. But it was really good. I mean, really excited about it. Like, it wasn't thousands of dollars, but it was hundreds. Stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it now, though.
Hey, it cuts stuff.
It does. It cuts stuff. It's gonna sit in my. It's gonna be the best box opener I have. The most expensive one for sure. I'm not a stranger to buying like $100 knives, but like that was a lot more than I wanted to spend. It was just like I went in there thinking it was like 100, 120, and be like, oh, it'd be pretty cool,
When you're looking at the knives, like, how did you pick this one out? You're like, show me what it does.
Yeah. Well, no, he showed me like 5 or 6 of them, and then of the autos knives, and then he showed me a couple like folding auto knives, and then he showed me just a couple standard knives, lock back and standard knives. And then I just kind of looked through them. I was like, I like this one. I like the feel of it. It's light. And I was like, of course it's cool, like an auto knife.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of like I'm cooler than I should be. And then he got me at the register, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was that. So yeah. So it was like a nice little like, you've done a good job. Like I was celebrating myself.
Yeah.
And I went to Beach Bowl and had a acai bowl.
A where?
A Beach Bowl?
Where's that?
You never been to a Beach Bowl?
No.
Which is behind Hydeside.
Okay.
There's a little place that has like acai and dragon fruit bowls.
Wait, Hydeside, which one?
The one on the corner in Fish Creek. Like not the clothing shop, but the one with the flying pig in front and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's behind that where the old, I think it was an old dip shop, like a ice cream shop maybe?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it was a clothing shop. I don't remember, but it's like back there. Like if you turn in behind Hydeside where the old Nicolay Bank used to be.
Yeah.
Like just go straight until you can't go anymore, and it's right there on the left.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's good.
Oh,
it's good.
Nice.
It's like a nice, refreshing little, and they're like $10 or $15. I don't know how much they are, depending on how much stuff you put in them.
Okay.
So
cool.
But you're not a big like different type of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you like dragon fruit or acai? Have you had either of them?
Not really.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I won't.
Yeah.
I've had a dragon fruit before.
Okay. Yeah. So this is like carbonated frozen dragon fruit.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But it's like ice cream. It just makes you feel better because it's acai or dragon fruit. You know, you should feel like you're healthy.
Sure.
It's not, but it makes me feel like that anyways. So, but
That's what's important.
It is. It is. It's how you feel. It's not what you look like, right?
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Disc golf? Should we talk about that?
Disc golf.
All right. Let's talk about disc golf. So the first thing I want to talk about is Isaac Robinson and the most amazing reel that I've seen.
Okay.
And this young lady is being thrown all over the internet.
Right.
And it has officially made it to disc golf.
Yeah.
And it's the Haktua.
Yeah.
It's the Haktua girl. Let's have a quick conversation about that.
Okay.
When did you first see that? And have you watched the whole interview?
No, I have not seen the whole interview. I remember just like opening TikTok one day, and it was like the second or third video that popped up, and I was like, "What the heck is she like? Where is this coming from?" And like, what? Yeah. I must have watched it like at least 3 times in a row before I was like, okay. And then the 2 videos later, it was her stitched with like something. I was like, that's
Yes.
fast. All right.
Yes.
And then I was on Instagram, or no, I was on Facebook maybe. And people were already dyeing discs with like Haktua on it. I was like, this is going way too fast.
No.
Like the amount of time that it took to spread wildfire, just viral immediately.
Right.
And then from there, it was like, I saw, what was it? Tony Hawk to skate.
Yes.
And like just a bunch of different stuff. I was like, wow.
It's incredible. So like a lot of stuff I have on is like when I scroll, it's like music, lifting, and like business inspirational stuff.
Yeah.
Even in that, like so music was name a genre and they have a song.
Okay.
You know, especially like EDM and dance music and stuff for sure. Country music. Like I wish I should play it, but I'll play it for you afterwards.
Yeah.
Country music. There's a whole song. Not just like a whole song.
Okay.
About that.
Oh, wow.
And you know, it's like sitting in my pickup truck and then I get you know? So I was even on like hospitality website, like looking for room signs. Like do not disturb signs.
Oh my God.
Dude, as I was looking at, you know, the Google search where you get is do not disturb Haktua in progress. I was just like,
Oh man.
how does it go so fast?
Yeah.
How does it go so
You gotta
fast?
capitalize. That girl's gonna make a lot of money.
Oh, or not. Or
yeah.
she's going to get thrown like everybody else is going to make money around her.
True.
So then I'm I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I go and watch like it's a street interview, like one of those like, you know, like
Yeah. I know what you're talking
what's
about.
your man, like all this stuff,
Yeah,
you know, just asking the weird, awkward and it's hilarious the entire time. So she's with a group of like 4 girls. I don't know how many girls it was, but she was with like a group of 4 girls. But she was always the one kind of like talking over them. She's a little buzzed, you know.
Yeah.
She's just out on the street having fun. And the stuff she says is hilarious. It is hilarious. Not decent. Like, don't let your kids watch it. Like, it's hilarious. Like, she's funny. So, yeah, anyways, so figured now we are officially made it to disc golf. And I thought it was hilarious because it was Isaac Robinson putting on the Prodigy baskets.
Yeah.
And it was the Prodigy baskets that did the Tua.
Yeah, right.
So, anyways.
Paul Macbeth had a pretty good spit out at Swedish Open that it would have also hucked to it.
Right. It was like there was flubber in the bottom of the basket.
Yeah.
Like it hit the bottom basket and just bounced right out.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Unreal.
Incredible. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Isaac Robinson, at least hopefully that makes you smile about those spit outs because you weren't happy about them.
No. But it was funny, like you just like the reel that you should like he just hits the change as hawk to it, like break back out.
Yeah, so whoever made that, good for you. I appreciate you. Yeah, so I want to talk about the Majestic real quick, or at least the winners.
Yeah.
So good old Marweed. Didn't he win one of our, like, most likely to be, was he one of the serial killer nominees?
I don't remember if he was a serial killer nominee or not. He might have been.
I think he was in there. I think
Okay.
he was one of the serial
could have
killer
been in there.
nominees. So, yeah, so Marweed wins, Majestic. And then FPO, Scoggins. So we will say, and I will add this disclaimer, like, it was a soft field.
It was.
Adam Hammis came in second, right behind him, but it was a soft field. Didn't have any of the huge names because most of them are in Europe. But it was also simultaneously with the Mid-America.
Yeah, I mean, there's a decent field. Yeah, him, Adam Hammis, Kale, Andrew Presnell, Luke Taylor in 5th, Evan Smith 6th, Casey White 7th, Matt Oram 8th, Ryan Sheldon 9th, Evan Scott tied for 9th, also with Catherine Rathbun. And then, yeah, I mean, there's a couple other people, Robert Burge, Clint Calvin, Kevin Jones was there, Big Germ. So, I mean, it seems like people were kind of spread out this week with it being an off week from actual DGPT events, because the next one coming up is DMC.
Yep.
And so I think some people are making their way there. There's other people getting ready to go to Europe or already in Europe to be prepared for being in Europe, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. Just kind of a weird time for disc golf, really.
Yep.
But I mean, you're just trying to stay in the flow, keeping things loose, working on game, maybe like hitting some courses that along the way that just to do it. But I mean, Owen won by pretty easily 6 strokes over Raven Klein. And then Emily Weatherman, Chantel Budinsky, Katrina finished in 5th.
Craig was there?
In 5th. Yep. Cynthia Ricciardi, Lauren Butler, Ashley Mua, and then
Mawa.
Moua.
MOUA, okay.
Yeah. Then we see some other people, like Lisa Fakis there. She missed cash. I mean, small field, 25 players. So, I don't know. People's like, it's just people staying in the area.
Yeah.
You know, ready to make their way down to Des Moines. So,
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of on the way, and they can make a little pit stop there, keep their shoulders warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going. So, but good for Isaac Robinson. And he won in pretty clutch style. You know, he had to
Andrew
land an
Marweed.
island. I mean, Marweed, excuse me.
He had to land the...
Had to land an island and get the birdie, and it wasn't a long putt. I mean, it wasn't a short putt for sure.
No.
Yeah, it was probably a 30-footer-ish
Yeah.
in that area.
Right.
So,
At good old Blue Ribbon Pines.
yeah.
And if you want to watch coverage, you can check it out on, I think GK Pro has coverage. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Luke Humphreys with commentary, I believe.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
So let's get into our big topic of the day. Let's do some speculation.
Okay.
And that seems to be Prodigy hawk-toing a lot of their pros away.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it before, but I think Väinö Mäkelä has since departed and gone over to Innova as well.
Right.
Roughly about a month ago, there was a account that posted, "Hey, looks like Prodigy leaving the disc golf world." She would be asleep on a couch. That Prodigy's leaving the disc golf world. Got a lot of flack, and now all of a sudden, that post has become popular again on Reddit, and it's saying, "Well, I should have given you so much flack," like people like recanting their comments on the thing.
Okay.
But you think you're basically just dropping all of your largest players. You haven't really made a marketing push in any way, shape, or form that I've noticed in, a year and a half. The last plastic you bought that you brought out was Spectrum. The last new disc that you've put out was Kale's and Kevin's.
Yeah, they put out maybe a couple more since then. Like Isaac has the archive,
Okay.
like as a signature disc. Vinyl has a disc out that like they're supposed to release like right before he left. I think like a couple days before he left, they were going to release. I think it's called the Archer.
Okay.
I think. I'm not positive, but I think that's what it's called. But it's funny because, so from what I was listening to Grip Locked or whatever, they did a special episode like immediately after, or like a little after Kevin left and Vinyl left, because apparently they were talking about how they forgot to talk about it. And so they reached out to Kale.
Prodigy fans. Like, because they were sponsored in college. And,
Right. Yeah.
Because the Liberty team is a Prodigy, right? Or was.
I think it was. Yeah. Yeah, because like I think Hunter talked about being like on the street team or part of the team at one point and like having to sign a contract and all that. And they said they talked to Kale and they were in on a Zoom call or whatever, and it sounded like part of like the Kevin Jones thing was him maybe. I mean, we speculated before like a performance thing, or that he wasn't holding up to like what his end of the deal on social media posting and stuff like that. But then it also sounded like it had to do with them not being able to keep up with paying him as well.
Right.
And I think that's kind of maybe like Kale wasn't totally sure about the Vinyl situation, but maybe same situation with Vinyl, like not being able to keep up with paying him what he's due. So, I mean, disc golf as a whole is seeing a market correction.
Oh, of course. Yep.
Yeah. So
It's a flattening for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? So even with Kale, so Kale's rumor is that Kale, you mentioned it, that he sold basically his portion of
The preserve. Yeah.
because he was trying to basically minimize the losses from Prodigy.
I don't know if I
Right.
said that, but that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
And I've heard that Kevin and Vinyl and many others are being renewed because of, and they're being released mid-season with a grand farewell. And over the last couple of years, they made some pretty big kerfuffles, right?
Sure.
And their plastic sucked while the boom was happening, so nobody wanted them. I don't know if there's any other direction that this could be pointing, other than they're in serious trouble or they're preparing for a sell.
Right.
What
It's
else
kind of
could it
crazy. I mean, yeah, now would maybe be a good time to sell, but like you'd think you want to sell like when the market's hot.
be? Right, absolutely.
But I mean, that window's definitely past. That's opportunities pass them by. The idea too, like that getting them off the books is like they're just going to push for keeping the Robinson brothers. I don't know. It's weird because, yeah, it seems like except for like Innova and maybe a couple other companies, disc golf teams are getting smaller, and they've always talked about, oh, we want to like really take care of our players on the team. So I don't know if that's the way of the future, is making smaller teams with more money on more money for those players, but you're not having to pay them quite as much as paying out more money for a lot of players.
Right.
So that can stretch you a little longer.
So what's the mystery of Katrina Allen leaving? Like, pretty just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then
Dickerson.
Mason Ford. Where was Mason Ford? No, he was Dickerson, and then who else? There was like 4 people that
Matty
left
O.
that year. Matty O, yep. It was like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
No, this was longer than that ago. No, it was about 2 years
It was
ago.
2 years ago. It was, yeah, Matteo, Dickerson, Katrina, and, well, I don't know. So, like, right now they have Prodigy, sorry. Luke Humphreys, Isaac, and Ezra. Trying to think of who else is on the MPO team. Evan Smith? I'm not totally sure. Oh, Like left. Prodigy.
Yes, yep.
That's who else left.
Yep.
I think that was last year, though.
Yeah, that was beginning of, like in the off season this last year, yeah.
Yep. So I just don't know if a company, like, could they join some bigger company? Like, who would want to swoop in for Prodigy? Like, could a Discraft?
Franklin.
Whammo?
Yeah, Whammo.
House of Discs? Like,
they have quite a few teams. But they have their core team, which is their like biggest team.
yeah.
Aiden Scott, Kale,
Okay. Yep.
Chantel Budinsky, Ezra Robinson, Isaac Robinson, Luke Humphreys, and Manabu.
Oh, Manabu. Forgot about Manabu.
That's it.
That's their core team. So
That's their team.
Huh.
So one female. And then
Wild.
Yeah. And then you go down into the other ones and like it gets a little bit bigger, like the lower teams you go down,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, I mean, so they have a European tour team, which is Henrik.
Excuse me.
Yeah, like the European pro team is a lot bigger. There's, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Timu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 people on their European team.
Okay. So double the size.
Yeah. So it's just, so for me, all signs are pointing to something not good in the wings. And so much so that we're seeing on the shop side more frequent calls from the vendors or from the wholesale account representatives and emails like, hey, anything I can do. I need to get stuff in your hands. I need to put this stuff, like send us old stuff back. We'll give you new stuff if you just want to refresh yourself, like shelves, like.
Oh,
that
really?
stuff. Which may or may not be a sign of desperation, but it is kind of unheard of in the industry.
Okay. Yeah.
As of right now, like that could start coming to be like we need to get some new money in the door. So give us this back at 70%, and we'll let you. You know, who knows?
Sure.
Like, maybe that'll become a thing, but as of right now, so we'll see. We'll see. It's strange to me that they're dumping. I mean, what 9.5 years?
Yeah,
Väinö was with them.
Right.
No grumblings, no nothing. Like it just happened.
Yeah.
Prodigy with Kevin Jones 5.5 years,
Yeah.
5 years, and he was still had another 1.5 years left on his contract. Gone.
Yeah.
And you said that it kind of sounded like Prodigy set them up with Innova.
Yeah. From what I had heard, the owner like contacted Innova and kind of got them set up with over there. I'm sure at a cut rate deal. Hope maybe they'll re-sign with them next year. But
Right.
yeah, just very, very odd.
Yeah.
But cool for Prodigy to do that. Like they didn't have
Sure.
to do that. I'm sure they could have gone open bag or someone would have probably reached out to them. But interesting.
So at this point in the game, what saves Prodigy?
Man, I feel like it would have to be someone like House of Discs coming in and swooping them up, maybe. But it's like you have such a monopoly and you have so many companies under your, and they're trying to make money it too. So like if you're not selling Prodigy plastic that well, what's the point of them coming and picking them up?
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Unless they can get a couple more molders, like a couple more machines. But even that, I'm not even sure Prodigy has them in the U.S. anymore.
That's true.
I don't know.
I don't know, but
But I know in Georgia, I mean, that's where they're at. And from what I understand, there's a factory there, and they're pumping out discs there, or they used to pump out discs there. So who knows, and right now they're in the middle of being absolutely torn to shreds for their baskets, that you should never play on those baskets,
Right.
And really the only ones that you're seeing are Chainstar Pros, Innovas, like the 27 chains, and then Mach X's. No, not even Mach X's, Mach 7s, I think are the ones that they're really liking. But, you're not really seeing any other basket getting any love.
True.
But,
I mean, Rusco got flamed a long time for veteran baskets.
And they did some design changes on those. And they made some changes. I just go galvanized on those chains. And you'll stop the slip through. Well, you'll minimize the slip throughs. Like, you're always going to have them. Because there's not that big of a difference between the Chainstar Pros and then the veterans. There's really not a big difference between them, except for the chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a really good opportunity for someone to get some disc golf stuff for really cheap, I think.
Yeah.
Cheaper than what it should be. But who knows? Maybe they'll just do the bankruptcy thing and maybe they'll start something new.
I'm wondering how long it'll take them to come to a realization to or we'll hear an announcement about anything.
Yeah.
It just seems, I don't know. Because, just the offloading of players is incredible. Like the Gannons, the Alden, Gavin Babcock. It's kind of except for Alden, everybody that's left Prodigy is doing pretty well for themselves right now.
Yeah. So let's rewind the tape a bit. Let's not forget what Prodigy did in 2012 and 13. They came in basically player owned. We'll throw up air quotes with player owned. But they're the ones that started this whole player sponsorship and actually giving them a decent percentage. So they're the ones that kind of kicked that ball. I don't think player contracts would be where they are right now without Prodigy. Prodigy also did a lot of, kind of pioneering in the open bag market because they didn't have a full line when they first started. They were just slapping their stamps on other people's discs.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of that, and they did that in the mainstream. So good pros, which a lot of people we've talked about just today, were on that team for a long time. You think Paige Pierce, Kale, obviously,
Yuli, Germ,
Yuli, you go on and on and on and on. You go down the line, and you can probably name a pro that
was.
Missy Gannon, I think, was there too. Ricky.
Yeah.
So everybody spent a bit of time on Prodigy, and they moved along from players pretty quickly, or the players moved along from them pretty quickly. And if I remember rightly, Yuli still has some sort of ownership stake in Prodigy, or he sold it when he went to Discraft. But maybe. I know he was one of the initial owners of it, or whatever the shareholders, however they did it back in the day. So maybe and that was way ahead of his time, right? Maybe this is just another instance where Prodigy is about 3 or 4 steps ahead of everybody.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
My intuition is saying that they're just screwed, that they're going bankrupt, and they don't have enough money to continue operating, so they're cutting their biggest expenses with the least amount of return, and that's players. But maybe that's the other way. Maybe they're just saying, look, we're going to focus on 2 or 3 players, or a very small, finite amount of players and maximize the output.
But last week, on our episode, we were going through, I forgot what exactly we were doing, but we had the free agent thing. 2024, there's going to be a ton of free agents. So they could be freeing up money. That's true. For next season already. Yeah. If they weren't performing or it was, just too much right now, but they can use all that money on maybe one big person or a couple smaller people. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe they're going to bring Katrina back.
Oh. I don't know how long she signed an extension with DGA for. I thought it was at least 2 years.
I thought it was a 2-year.
Yeah.
And that was this past year, right? Well, no, because she was only a 1 year the first year.
She was, yeah.
So maybe it is coming up this year.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Simon's making another move.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. And to think we were talking about not that long ago too about who's going to be the next $1 million contract. The way things are looking, it's going to be. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, may not happen. I do think the industry is changing, and I think with the amount of dollars that are dropping out of the industry, especially on the wholesale and retail side, I would say that you will probably start to see manufacturer teams kind of disappear.
Yeah,
I think you're going to start seeing more of a traditional full line sponsorships like you see in golf and things like that. I don't know who they would come from or where they would come from, but if it's not coming from the manufacturers, it has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then it's a downside of the sport itself. So this is doomsday, but that's kind of where it needs to be. Either manufacturers need to be all in. Hopefully Prodigy's not setting a precedent, Hopefully manufacturers are still all in. They keep the manufacturer teams because Discraft seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah.
with it. Innova has always done pretty well with it.
Yeah.
House of Discs, I'm not sure where they're at with team. I mean, I know they have some high profile players, but I don't know. I still go back to it. Like, since the dissolution of like Bobby's core team,
Yeah.
I don't know anything. Nobody knows anything about what's happening behind the scenes there.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Before, it felt pretty transparent, and now,
Yeah.
there's no transparency there.
Right.
MVP, obviously, the trilogy there seems to be doing fine with the people that they're pulling in. So, maybe I'm just blowing smoke, but like, I don't know. I think one of those two things has to happen. Either big money has to come in from outside to start doing full line sponsorships for these people, or they have to keep that, manufacturer sponsorship. But where are these manufacturers going to continue to pay these people these wages that they're seeing?
I don't know. Well, through the increased price of discs.
Right. True. That's true. I mean, the average price, just in 3 years, the average price of our discs were $14. They're 17 and 3/4, something like that now. And I bet you once all the new MSRP updates come out this year, because we've gotten a couple notifications, like, we'll be probably up in the $18.5 range.
Sure.
So, most discs are coming out like $24 to $29, all the premium stuff.
Yep.
You can't buy a disc for under $10 anymore.
No.
A new one. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, I don't know. Anything else to say about Prodigy?
No.
All right. Anything else to say about disc golf?
Oh, disc golf?
Yeah.
Sure. There's lots of, there's other stuff to talk about.
There was a robot that Simon played.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't watch that, but it looked really interesting, and I fell asleep like right as soon as I started it.
I did too. Actually, I saw the guy, like, I started the video and I saw him like putting the disc in the hand, showing how it released and everything, and like how he can set like the release, set the release angle and the speed at which it releases. But it's this wild thing because like it'll just like twirl, 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 and then release the disc.
Yep.
I'm like, that's totally, I get it, but that's such like, we don't twirl, 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 and like release a disc. You know, it's like we just pull through X step. Like, it's wild. Yeah.
Have you ever watched the video of the guy that makes the disc golf machine? Like the disc golf throwing machine, the one that set the record, like 1,300 and some odd feet?
I didn't.
So he's like a brilliant guy, and he does his whole channel is all about like doing these different engineering feats.
Okay.
So he's just an absolutely brilliant guy, and he's really good at conveying this story or this message. So he decides to take up disc golf.
Yeah.
And he starts with like similar motion to the arm.
Yeah.
And then he had something that he put on his arm. So that was his first video about making the disc golf thrower. It was something he'd put on his arm, and it was like an extension that like helped his leverage go, you know?
Okay.
And he was just worried about the forces because he would like snap his arm is what he was kind of thinking. So he
Yeah.
never even like truly tested it, but he was just so inaccurate he couldn't figure it out. So then he went to like a rotating thing with like a release on it. And then it started really working at the end of that video. And he got to throw it about 400 feet. And then he came back in another video, I don't know, a couple months later, came back in another video. And he threw it like, ended up having the machine threw it like 1,400 feet. It was like 1,380 feet or something like that.
Holy cow.
So, but there's so much torque and spin on it that the disc just kind of like flips.
Yeah.
You know how you can get a really flippy disc. If you can throw it hard enough, it'll do a full barrel roll.
Yeah.
That's basically what he was doing with some really stable discs.
Oh, wow.
With that thing. Yeah, so it was really impressive. So I'm not sure if this is the same machine that Simon Lizotte played or not.
Okay.
But I'm going to have to watch it.
Well, because the guy that designed the machine that Simon was going against, or watching or doing stuff with, he was in like Robot Wars, I think.
Okay.
Like he designed like battle robots, from what I understand.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like way back in the day, I used to watch those like when they were on Spike TV or something like that.
Yeah.
It was really fun to watch. I didn't realize it was such a big thing. They have like battle arenas in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew it was kind of a big deal. Because I like the Spike TV thing. You can win some pretty decent money, I guess, from doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was like they had arenas for it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. While we were there was one like a big thing going on, and it was in one of the one of those arenas, but they have like big plexiglass arenas they put around them so you don't get like killed by shrapnel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool. And obviously, that like some of that stuff always comes up on like reels and things like that. Mm-hmm. There was this one where the guy actually, like the machine broke the plexiglass, like, and they had to like shut the thing down and replace the panel and stuff. Like, that's some serious, like, because they had some thick stuff. It was probably at least half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, like thick, and that's strong. That's like aircraft strong. Like, so,
jeez,
yeah. So what else? What else is there to talk about?
Well, the Swedish Open.
Oh yes,
DGPT Europe event went down this past weekend as well. Mm-hmm. James Proctor ended up getting his first DGPT victory.
Yes.
Which is, gosh, I think I saw somewhere 16 years playing.
And that was his first DGPT?
First DGPT event. Yeah. Kind of wild.
Yeah. That's amazing. So then P McBee.
Yep, he tied for second with Maury Vilman, Joseph Anderson, and then Ani Arminen, Dennis Augustin, Roland Kuh.
These are all second?
No, these are a couple people tied up, like fifth, seventh. Bradley Williams, eighth. Ricky, 11th. He was just coming over after his win. Eric Oakley, 11th. Jakob Semerad, 15th. There's like James Conrad, 18th. Eagle was there. Nicholas Antila, who had won last week, at tied 27th. Calvin was there. He did not play well, but just made last cash.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're notable names in this field.
Yeah.
Coming over to, like we were talking about earlier, to get the get acclimated to European tour. Mm-hmm. The trophy Bradley won, and we'll talk about some of those in a second. Really cool. It's like it was silver with like this cool base, and then like as it comes up, it's kind of like a cone, but like I don't know how you describe like what's like cut out of it and stuff, but silver on the outside, but on the inside it was like a darkish purple blue, and I thought like it was like a light almost like shining up inside of it, but I don't think it was. I think it was just painted that way, which was pretty awesome.
That's really cool. Yeah. I love seeing those type of trophies that are like, ours are so basic, they're just like plaques.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get over there and it seems like they have some good ones. I know, like, you know, there's the bear, there's the totem, you know, we get to see some.
Yeah,
like the Music City always has, like, they give you a guitar, you know, there's stuff like that, but yeah.
So I don't know how he's going to get that home. He just kind of like sits with you. You're like, hey, I got this thing to come on the plane with me. I'm just going to...
I know. I wonder if they just take like cash in lieu or something like that, or if it's... Because I know...
Mail it to me. Like,
who was it that was talking? Was it Macbeth? It was a while ago, or maybe it was like Sexton, where he's talking about how they leave... A lot of them just leave the trophies there.
Oh, Yuli was talking about that.
It was Yuli. That's what it was.
He got a second or third place trophy, and he was staying at an Airbnb or something, or wherever he was, and he just left it. Like he's like, it's a second place trophy. What do I care about a second place, third place trophy? Yep. Yeah, so that's funny.
I don't know if I would be that way. I wouldn't. I'm not too sure if I went over there and I got second place. Like, would I keep the trophy, or would I just like, or would I try to figure out a way to get it home?
Yeah, I don't know. If it's cool enough, I'd probably try to figure out a way. Because what if it's like, what if you're like one of those pros, like you like don't, like you're constantly like, you know, maybe like top 20,
right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like you make podium and you get something, like even though it's small, like
you still get it.
Yeah, I think I would take it.
Yeah, I think I would. Well, especially if I went over there and won now, like I would definitely take it back.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Right.
For sure. So, well, that's cool. I like that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of that coverage because the course looks magnificent. It looks so good. The short couple that that I saw, it looks great. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Why am I yawning so much? Lack of caffeine, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then for the FPO, Silva Saarinen ends up beating Henna Evelina. Oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher the heck out of this name. Mary Ld Christianardatter.
It sounded spot on. It sounded perfect.
Icelandic, I believe is where it said she was from. Rachel Turton, Evelina, Annika Sten, Heidi Lane, and that's...
Is that 5 in a row for her now?
5 in a row for Silva.
That's pretty impressive.
And she won by 5 strokes over Henna.
When does she see Tatar next?
I don't know. See...
Is it the European Open?
Possibly. Like, I think that's what Kristen's shooting for. I mean, she's still got the injury from rib injury from falling at their new place. So who knows? Like, and I've seen posts from Kristen. Like, she just had a post about, posing in front of her Porsche, like talking about disc golf, something or other. But I haven't heard like an update as far as the injury goes. And I'm like, well, okay. Are you keeping it a secret because it's worse than you think it is? Or are you keeping it a secret because you're making progress and you don't want to lead on like how well you're doing? Like, it's really weird.
I don't know if she actually runs her.
She doesn't. I think she has an account manager that does stuff for her now. Yeah, I don't think she runs her own social media at all. So,
I wonder when you're that famous, what type of stuff you get in your DMs.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? Like, I feel like it would be wholly inappropriate. There would be some like great fandom. There would be, like, I'm sure you would see the entire gamut of it.
If you're the so here's the real question. If you're the social media manager and you see all this stuff, do you actually show the person whose account you're managing?
Right.
Or do you just like let them be just carefree and like you're like dealing with all the crap?
I don't know. Like, that's hard to say.
Oh, we got another junk pick coming at you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Or, like all these things. But then I'm sure there's plenty of DMs too, like just congratulating people on victories, like fandom, that kind of stuff. But I would guess you get some pretty like lewd or like,
I'm sure
in Katrina's case, like she's gotten like threats and things in her DMs before from people over
because
stuff
of her stances on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's tough.
Yeah, that is weird. Like I've had one guy that comes back every about, I don't know, maybe every like 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
So it all started with like, hey, send me a free disc.
Oh.
And I was like, that's not how commerce works. Like, send me some money and I'll send you a disc.
Yeah.
And we just started going back and forth. And essentially what it ended up is that he would send me a pack of Cosmic Brownies. And then once I got the Cosmic Brownies, I would send him a 3-disc pack and a really, really nice, like I would pick the best discs like from my personal collection and send him some discs.
Okay.
And then never saw the brownies. Yeah. So he's a young kid and I was like, dude, you can buy them at the gas station. Like, send me just a Cosmic Brownie. I'll get you some really cool discs.
Yeah.
Never did it. And like 2 or 3 months later, he's like, I haven't forgotten. I don't have the money to buy it yet. I'm going to ask my mom. And I was like, give me that Cosmic Brownie. Here's the address. Like, send it to me. And about every 3 or 4 months, he would like, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to send you that Cosmic Brownie.
Yeah, right.
And then the other day, like, I think he started listening again.
Okay.
And he just recently sent me another one. Was something like, mentioned something that happened on the podcast. And he goes, and don't worry, I haven't forgot about that Cosmic Brownie yet. And I was like, offer still stands, man. Like, send it to me and I'll get you some. If I see a Cosmic Brownie show up,
right.
I'll send it to you. So
that's like, I ran a giveaway on my Instagram one time, and this kid ended up winning it. And I forgot the discs exactly that I was sending out. He's like, hey, send me a Cloud Breaker. I was like, that's not the disc you want. But he's like, yeah, but just throw it in. I'm like, that's not how this works.
No, it's not.
And like you were trying to win the discs that were in this picture. He's like,
Yeah.
I know you have them. I'm like, yeah, I have them, but I'm not going to send them to you because
Yeah.
that's not what I was putting up for as a giveaway.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of along the lines too. In the Door Disc Golf page, there's these guys that recently, one guy is like, he's like, oh, I'm giving away this Squatch bag and Zuka cart, and I forgot what the deal is. Like he's selling it for whatever reason, and he's like, let me know. And then a couple weeks go by, and it's a different guy, same pictures. He's like, hey, I'm selling this Squatch bag and Zuka cart off. I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, that's really weird that you'd be selling the exact same bag and the exact same cart.
With the same pictures.
With the same pictures, yeah. Like, people are just out to scam people for real.
Dude, it's sad. It's sad. So I just recently, so the other business, we had $25,000 stolen from us. We got it back. So so we don't leave anybody on a cliffhanger. We got it back. But essentially what they did is they somehow, like just scammers, and just bugs me, somehow they were able to get into our PayPal account, add their bank account, transfer money from our business bank account through PayPal into their bank account, and then they deleted their bank account and all their information. So we're just looking at this withdrawal of like $5,000 5 times. Well,
Yeah.
it was less than $5,000 because it flags at $5,000, but he turned off all the notifications and everything in the PayPal account.
Wow.
And I was like, we woke up and luckily we caught it like immediately when it happened, because we check every day. We go through all of our financials, and we check every single day. So I was actually up here on a meeting, and then I heard my wife goes like, Shane, what are you buying? And I'm like, I'm not buying anything. She's just like, what are you buying? How many are you going to buy? And then like she was seeing the things come through. And I was like, I'm not buying anything. Like, I'm on a meeting right now. And she's just like, uh-oh. And so we started looking, and sure enough, someone was like pulling money out of our account from PayPal. Like some just... Wow. So and it took a couple days before we knew whether we were going to get the money back or not. Okay. But luckily we caught it because they said they were able to actually stop it at the bank that it was going to. It was in like Vero Beach, Florida or something like that. Mm-hmm. They were able to stop it at the bank it was going to. And the bank itself was like, whoa, and they put the stop on it, the one in Vero. And I was just like, I'm glad we were able to catch it that quickly, because if it would have got like offshore, it's like we'd but for those couple of days, I was like, well, hopefully that, guy in whatever area is like going to make his life, hopefully that $25,000 is going to make him. But I was just like, man, like, cause that's like our operating budget. Like that's how we operate our businesses. Like if we would have lost that would have been like devastating, but it's nuts how that stuff happens. I think your thing went out. There it goes. Yeah.
Oh, that stupid cord.
Yeah.
Stupid thing.
So that was my excitement. And like, so I've been tired.
Yeah.
But we canceled that account, so that account doesn't exist anymore. But just kind of creepy how that stuff happens.
Oh, it is.
So easily, so quickly. All right.
Oh, I was going to ask something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you've seen like a run kind of like... I mean, I'm trying to think if Kristen went on a run like this.
Are you talking like Annika Stin or?
No, like Silva's.
Oh, Silva, okay.
Yeah, like, did she?
Paige Pierce, I think, was the last one to do it, like in 18 or 17. I remember her going like, she showed up, she was winning.
Yeah.
I think it was 17, if I remember rightly, because I think she like essentially swept most of the big like majors, I think. Am I wrong on that? But that was when she was like full like over the head snap putt, and she would just make everything from within like 60. But I don't think she went on that big of a streak.
It's like Kristen had last year had two turkeys. It was World Championships, European Championships, European Open, and then earlier in the season she had Music City, Blue Ridge, and then Champions Cup. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, she was dominant. Like she had, can't read how many wins she had, but it was like, was it 13, 14, something like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see, 22.
By the way, the Prodigy PA3 500 Glimmer Vinyl Macula Archer.
Okay.
Is still on it's on pre-order still on the Prodigy website.
Got it. And then in 22 she had 4 in a row with Jonesboro, DDO, Flex Steer, so that doesn't really count, I guess. And then Yarva Open. Mm-hmm. So take that one out. So I mean, 3 in a row seems to be like her career high as far as but yeah, I mean, Paige, that's a good.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 16 or 17 when she went on that absolute tear. And I think it was, what was her second world? No, it was her first Worlds, right? No, second. Because she has 4?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think so.
Okay, 4 or 5. I think it was her second or third Worlds. Second.
I can't keep up anymore.
I'm pretty sure it was her second.
Okay.
Worlds. That year, I want to say that she went on an absolute she was just taking people's souls.
Because, I mean, what she's doing right now as a teenager, I mean, Gannon's a teenager. There's plenty of teenagers playing. Mm-hmm. But it's wild to think that to be this consistent, to be on top. Granted, like, a couple of those tournaments, Hannah and Evelina weren't playing, but you're still winning.
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah, like, it's not so much like beating certain people, because, like, you're always told to play the course. Mm-hmm. You're trying to get the best course possible. Yeah. Like, yes, I'm sure people are pushing you at some point, but, like, mentally, you got to be there to, like, stay in it. So,
yeah. I think for her to be this far ahead so soon is a really big deal.
Yeah.
I think it's a really big deal.
I mean, it's a reason. Part of that's the reason why she was Rookie of the Year. Mm-hmm. So that definitely makes a big deal. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's a big deal. Like, and it's not that she's not winning when those other top females in Europe are present. She's still winning at this point. So we'll see. European Open comes around because what are we, 2-3 weeks away? 2 weeks away?
Something like, yeah.
So that's going to be her big test because most of the Americans are going to be there. Well, a lot of the Americans are going to be there, top level FPO Americans. And then we're going to see the best of the European females as well there. So that'll be a large draw. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how she does there. And if she continues her streak in the next 2 weeks and then goes into European Open, like, that'll be pretty solid. She'll solidify something there if she ends up doing that. Yeah.
You were right about Paige. 2018 was, she had she started with Coastal Wheatley Swine Classic, A tier, then Las Vegas, NT, DGPT, Memorial, Waco, Jonesboro. Then she hit Texas Women's Championship, which was a B tier, DDO, or Glassbone Open, and then Masters Cup. Mm-hmm. And then she ended up with the second at San Francisco Open. So, I mean, she had a string of 7, 8. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And that was pretty high tier. I mean, Katrina was on her game. Holcomb was actually doing pretty darn well at that time. Owen wasn't on scene. Well, she was on scene at that point, but she wasn't the Owen of today.
Yeah.
Jen Allen was doing pretty darn well at that point.
Yeah.
That was when she was kind of winning everything. It was right before she got her little, like, Barkley putt issue.
Right, yeah.
Where she had her, like, laying up from 10 feet away. Yeah, she was doing really well then. She was doing really well. And then Hannah and Evelina were still there on tour. Because I remember watching, I believe we were on site for Memorial that year.
Okay.
We actually went and watched that because we were there. Yeah, I mean,
Kona was still with Innova and, like, doing fairly well too.
Okay.
Yeah, Holcomb, Katrina, Jen Allen, Jessica Weiss. Like, those are some of the names. Madison Walker.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, there was still
Wasn't that Paige Shue's year? I mean, Paige Bjerkis's at that point. Wasn't that her year that she won Worlds? Was 18? No. It was 17 she won Worlds, right? I think it was 17 she won Worlds. So it would have been the year before.
Yeah, that sounds just about, yeah.
Because at Brewster? No, where was it?
Yeah.
Brewster, wasn't it?
Yeah. Green Mountain Championship.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it is impressive. But if she wins on into and through European Championship, does she have any plans of coming to the United States after that?
Well, I don't know. I haven't looked at her schedule. Like she played a couple of events here already. Let me go back a couple clicks here. So I was just going through all these. Oh, that's Kristen. She hasn't played hardly at all. Come on, give me what I want. Ah, crap.
Yeah. But you know what's fun about Kristen being hurt is you get to spotlight some of these other players.
Oh, yeah.
I think if she was not hurt, we wouldn't even be talking about anybody else.
True. So yeah, like up until this is Silva. She started 34th at US DGC. That was her first. Then 23rd at Texas States, 10th at Jonesboro, 9th at Music City, 4th at Champions Cup, 3rd at Copenhagen Open, and then from there she's just won.
Jeez.
So 1, 2, yeah, five in a row.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean she's impressive. Just. It's kind of like you could say that maybe her stint here wasn't so great, but like she found comfort in going home and like being there.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and you notice she never got worse. She only got better.
Yeah.
Like her finishes were always better than they were the week before. So, I mean, you're seeing something out of her. And she found something, obviously, when she went back home. There's some sort of confidence or comfort that she's found there. So, I'm excited about it. Like, I'm excited to see what she's going to do. So, hopefully, we see her win out and then go through European. And then after that, we'll see. Maybe Prodigy will pick her up.
I don't know how many years she's with MVP, so I forgot how many years she signed with MVP because they signed her and Paul Kranz like both at the same time as rookies.
Yeah. I would assume it would be a couple years at least.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
And I don't know. She's firmly in the DGPT championship right now. Like, I think she was 9th. Maybe last time I saw.
I thought she was 16th.
6. Oh, maybe it was further down.
The one, yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll see. If she keeps winning, hopefully those points can move her up.
Yeah.
With the way DGPT Europe goes.
Yeah. I think there's a good potential. Unless someone goes off, I think there's a really good potential. So, I'm excited to see it. All right. Anything fun or exciting?
Fun or exciting?
To talk about. Thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking.
To leave us on.
Thought-provoking.
Yeah. I heard a really good joke, but it's not appropriate for our podcast.
Okay.
It was actually really funny.
Yeah.
It had to do with 5 pennies. Have you ever seen that?
5 pennies? I don't know.
It talks about like, do you see a car? And it's like, oh, there's Lincoln right here, and you like builds up, and then it gets to 5 cents.
Got it. Okay.
And at the end of 5 cents, it goes, you see a prostitute.
Oh
and
boy.
He's like, no, and he goes, definitely not for 5 cents. But it's really good. I'll have to tell you the whole thing. But
that's funny. Okay.
Basically, you start at 1 cent and you go up to 5, and each one is like, oh, that's really neat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And you'd like to really like wholesome.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get to the 5th one, and you're like, you see a prostitute? And so there you go.
Okay.
It's said in different ways, of course.
Sure.
Too, but
Yeah. Obviously.
Hey, if someone told me that, one of the guests told me that. I'm standing outside in front of the restaurant, and they're like, Shane, I have a joke for you.
Okay.
And he puts 5 pennies down on like those little tables we have out on our deck. And he's just hella this thing. Like, there's people standing around us, and I'm just like, oh, this is great. And at the end, he goes, so, and he uses, like, not prostitute, he uses, like, the H word.
Okay.
And I'm like, and I'm kind of like looking around, like, no. And he goes, definitely not for 5 cents. He like swipes up the 5 cents. And I'm like, oh my goodness, his wife is just standing in the background, like shaking her head. It was the funniest thing in the world. Yeah, it's this like older guy. You know, when you get to a certain age, like, who cares? You know?
Right.
He was of that age, like the who cares age.
Oh,
no.
I got something. Well, I got something to tell you after the podcast.
Yeah.
That I heard that kind of like blew my mind. When somebody,
I'm excited.
Okay.
All right. I think speaking of blowing minds, today my baby, Ezra, was standing on my lap.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And he farted so loud that it actually startled me and him so much that he started crying. Because I was like, whoa. And he did the whoa, and then he like got the sad face, you know? Yeah. So I had to give him a hug, and then he was pretty good after that. But
okay.
So babies fart so hard that it scares them.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you like blew himself over.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. No, he's not quite sitting by himself yet, but I'm sure it's coming. But I do know that he is my child. Mm-hmm. So that's for sure. So with all that being said, I did get called at 11:30 2 nights ago to flush a toilet that had a deuce in it.
Oh, boy.
Yep. So with that being said, deuces in the toilet.